Welcome, everybody, to Between Two Succulents. Here's your host, Brandon Rashad Butts.
Hey there, book friends. Thank you for the intro, Joe. Welcome back to yet another episode of Between Two Succulents. I'm Brandon Rashad Butts, your friendly neighborhood bookseller. And I'm excited to bring to you guys the writer of a sophomore novel whose first was a big hit, and you're probably going to recognize her. This New York Times best-selling author is the queer fiction writer and essay writer. She won the 2017 Coyle Book Award for her debut short fiction collection, She Felt in the Jaw, and was awarded the Ninth Letters 2015 Literary Award in Fiction. She's a columnist for Literary Hub, one of my favorite publications, and her work has appeared or is upcoming in a number of other publications such as Northern American Review, The Normal School, Gulf Coast, Tri-Quarterly, Guernica, Electric Literature, Volume 1, Brooklyn, Bennington Review, Tiny House, Flash Fiction Fridays, The Guardian, Salon, The Rumpus, and many more elsewhere, everywhere. Just Google her, you'll find her stuff. Her debut novel is Mostly Dead Things. Everyone, please welcome to our chat, Miss Kristen Arnett.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be talking with Kristen about her sophomore novel, With Teeth. You might have heard of Kristen from the bestsellers list or any of the other publications that we shouted out. But you could trust that she can spin an excellent story. And I think that she's going to be an excellent champion for our first segment that we like to call Aw, Sucks. So, Kristen, we have two succulent VIPs today. And we are going to describe them to you, give you a little bit of information, and you're going to select which one that you feel is best appropriate to take to a big old queer family reunion. Are you ready to play with us?
I am.
Awesome. Joe, take it over. What do we have for Kristen today?
Well, Brandon, today we have two wonderful succulents. A fairies washboard is our first contestant. A charming, compact succulent, native to southern Africa, Fairies Washboard features a rosette of triangular leaves with distinct ridges that resemble the texture of a washboard, giving it the common name, Fairies Washboard. The leaves create a spiral effect that is quite dizzying when looking at the plant from above. The plant produces flower clusters when in the summer, but the flowers are not very showy. It grows best in bright light and warm, dry climates. Nothing like Florida, where your book takes place, Kristen. The next one is the pincushion peperomia. It's a small semi-succulent perennial species native to Peru and the rainforests of South America. The scientific name of the peperomia plant refers to its connection to the pepper plant. Other names include the happy bean, green bean peperomia. This plant grows up to 12 inches and features narrow, slender, and juicy lime green leaves, which are pea-pod shaped. It likes bright indirect light and humidity, but it cannot tolerate direct sunlight or full sun. Kristen, which one is it going to be?
I don't know. Both sound really good. I think I'm going to go with contestant number one because you mentioned the spiraling, and I feel like that's what happens at a family get-together.
Yes! Hands down. Yes. All right, congratulations. Thank you for playing, Kristen. That's an excellent choice and a great reason for it, honestly. Let's go ahead and get into your book, okay? So, of course, everybody's got a family, so a theme or motif that we find is the family setting or the dynamic. But I think that a great way in general, mainly because it takes a chance for us to add some representation or just get a different perspective other than that of the heteronormative, is to set it in within a queer family who's got more going on than just maybe two moms or two dads, but there's actually some fluidity or some, questions that allow for a lot more representation. Could you tell us, could you speak a little bit about what it was like writing about this specific family? And then was your intent maybe to disrupt the system, or was it just to highlight other aspects of real life, honestly?
Yeah. This is a great question. I honestly, I consider myself to be a queer writer, so pretty much everything I write is just going to be queer, I feel like. But I really was interested in writing about a queer family, specifically in Florida, but a family that is messy and dysfunctional, because I was like, I am interested in seeing. I think there's like a compulsion or like a push all the time to be like, let's see like something from a queer perspective, but oh, we like better make it like nice, or like, you know, we wanted to have like good representation of ourselves. And it's not like an accurate representation of the kind of full scope of like, you know, where everybody has like issues and dysfunctions. And so in writing this book, I was like, I'm going to write about somebody who is a gay mom, and, you know, maybe they're not necessarily a good one. So it was like, I guess I mean, for representation for like shitty gay moms, I guess. It felt important to me to like put a lot of that in there, because I was like, this is something that I haven't seen, and also something I'm interested in. I was like, I feel like we all write about what we get obsessive about, and that became like really obsessive for me. As I was like, I'm thinking about like how a mom who is like queer in Florida like could spiral to the point where there's like just a level of dysfunction that's just like completely like unnavigable like in the household. So yeah, I guess I was mostly wanting to represent mess.
Yeah. No, that's great though, because I think that when you come from a marginalized or an oppressed community, you are somewhat robbed of opportunities to show the three dimensions of that community. Mm-hmm. There are not nice people. There are generally messy people out here, from even the most underrepresented communities, and it doesn't always have anything to do with the system per se. Mm-hmm. And so I love work that actually embraces that. The fact of that, and really fights against the fallacy that when it comes to representation, it has to always be a happy ending or a positive depiction. So that was honestly one of my favorite things. But no, great. So, you know, another one of my favorite things was really the style, and how you sort of, it takes place over a couple of years, but then you kind of use the seasons also to propel the story. Could you tell us a little bit about your style choice for this book?
Yeah, I saw it. There's like, I'm not a person that outlines as I write, so there's very few things I know when I start a big project like a novel. One of the things I did know was that I knew I wanted it to kind of have these kind of seasonal breaks. And part of that is, I guess, twofold. One of the things is that like the size of those chunks represent like kind of incidentally represent like how those seasons function in Florida. So winter's very short and so is fall, but you get a lot of like spring and summer. But the another part about that too is that like it felt very easy and like a good choice to put the seasons, because I think when people have kids, like so much of your life is broken up into like putting them through school and like what that looks like. So like it just like naturally falls into that rhythm. Like, okay, here's summer. Okay, here's like fall when school starts. Okay, here's winter, and here's where like holidays take place and breaks. And like, yeah, here's spring and like holidays happen there. And then also like spring break and things. So it like felt very natural to kind of fall into a thing like that. But the rest of it, moving through it, when that stuff happened, it just was like, it's whenever my brain says stop and move to the next part. I knew I wanted to have there be a lot of representation with Sammy and Samson, her son, when he was like in the 4th grade. So like as a child. And I also knew I wanted there to be like a fair amount of representation of Sammy's relationship to Samson when he was a teenager, because so much of like her raising a child is kind of talking over or for him a lot of the time. And once someone becomes a teenager, they're developing who they're going to be as an adult, like their own preferences. They start to have a voice. They can talk and they want to tell you what they think. And that I wanted that to like really butt up against like Sammy's compulsion to speak for Samson, or to say this must be what he means, or this is what he says, or this is who he is, and to have his voice kind of intrude and be like, actually no, this is who I think I am, or you know, like those kinds of things. So those things I knew, but otherwise it always feels like it's a big surprise, which I like. I get bored really easily.
Yeah, no, I mean absolutely, and I think that you know, I think you know. One part is you know, using it as the kind of telling of the seasons of the age timeline. Like, you know, spring is very much toddler like, and summer is, you know, we're growing up and it's getting a little hotter, and then we're right into the smack of the teenage years, and it gets cold and chilly, and I think that's such a fascinating way to look at it, and in turn, again, takes us back to the mom, and uh, just so much that goes on a mom's plate, and then what you sort of get warned about when you have a child about those teenage years. I feel like everyone gets a good little warning, but then experiencing, not to spoil anything because I love people to read it, but experiencing the circumstances that Sammy and Samson experience, particularly in identity and things like that, and really because they're both having an identity crisis of sorts at that point. And so seeing how they clash in that arena, specifically around the topic of seasons, I think was a really nuanced way of approaching the book, honestly.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, I loved it, Kristen. Thank you. I mean, you truly written a book that embraces the messiness of family dysfunction. And I'm grateful for that. And I think that's why you'd be an excellent contestant in our next segment that we like to call the lightning round.
Crash! Lightning sound!
So this round is really fun. I'll ask you 3 questions. And if you answer them correctly, then one lucky viewer on our StreamYard will win the prize of all prizes, a copy of your new book with teeth. Available right here at Charm City Books right now. Kristen, are you ready to play the lightning round?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go right for it. Question number 1. What would you say is the most prominent lesson that Sammy learns by the end of the book?
I would say the most prominent lesson that Sammy learns is that Sammy doesn't learn anything. She's like, I think she goes through the book really repeating a lot of behaviors, and going through the book is that very much of the opinion that's she's just going to continue kind of cycling through the same kind of things. So I think Sammy learns that Sammy doesn't want to learn anything.
Yeah, and hey, that admission of self, is great. Loved it. Great. So question number 2: what does being set in Florida add to the story?
I am of the very firm opinion that a lot of really good place writing, not that I'm saying that my writing is really good or anything, but the writing I like to read about place really treats place as a character as important as anybody else in the narrative. So for me, it felt important because I want to feel like a book that's set in Florida that I'm trying to set in couldn't take place anywhere else. It informs how they move through the world. Florida is so, it's it feels very hands-on, right? If you're in Florida, it's the weather feels like it touches you. It's sticky and tacky. The weather can kill you, animals can kill you, insects can kill you, and the people. And there's a lot of there's a lot of things going on, but it felt the most significant to me to be also a very specific subsection of Florida. So Mostly Dead Things, my first novel, is very outside feeling, even when you're inside. And this book is it's a different class section too. Mostly Dead Things was a blue collar book. These people are have money, and they're it's a different subsection. It's they could be living in the same town as each other, and it's a completely different lived experience, right? So I was I want to show this kind of subsection of Florida with this book. And I think it was important to have Florida be there because it's a different kind of slice of it. But I also just don't know. I like to write Florida into everything. So it'll be an interesting day, the day I try and write it not in there.
Well, listen, I'm excited for your novel titled Florida Man, that I'm sure is going to be full of great stories and things like that. Awesome. But question number 3, just more personal question. What queer writers would you say have influenced you along the way?
Oh my goodness. Alex Chee, for sure. I think Alex Chee's Edinburgh is one of the best queer books of the past 20 years. It's so terrific. Tikira Madden, who is a queer Florida writer, Long Live the Tribe of Fatherless Girls, is so incredible. I think such an amazing book, and I feel Florida when I read it, and queer Florida. Brian Washington, who's such a great and beautiful place writer. Lot, his short fiction collection, and Memorial, his novel, I think are just incredible. Oh my gosh, there's so many queer writers that I want to say have influenced my work. I feel really like Tori Peters' new book, like Detransition Baby. I've been thinking about that a lot as I've been working on new stuff. I was just like, this is like family mess in like a way that I am like so impressed with, like re-examining and opening it up. And I think that book is gonna like influence any future work I do. I think it's phenomenal. I could talk all day about queer writers, I feel like.
Awesome. No, we love that. Thank you so much. And congratulations. You are our lightning round winner.
All right!
Kristen! All right. Joe, who is our lucky winner of today?
Brandon, our lucky winner today is Witchy Fingers, who's viewing on YouTube. Witchy Fingers, if you're hearing this, please send an email to joe@charmcitybooks.com, and we'll make sure to send that to you wherever you are in these great 50 United States. Thank you. Congratulations.
We love new friends, Witchy Fingers. Thank you for watching. We have a great section on witch stuff, tarot stuff, crystals, all the things that you might like. Come check us out at Charm City Books if you're in Baltimore. Kristen, thank you for checking out and chatting with us. So just tell us, what's next for you? You know, are we enjoying the spoils of this new book? Are we getting away? Are we going to visit the family? Are we keeping the family on hold for a second? What's going on?
Oh, I'm gonna try and make myself write some more. I think that's like the thing. It's like you get into a groove of being like, okay, now it's time to like promote book work, and then it's like, okay, now it's time to write again. And those are two very different things. So it's trying to stay away from any family and just kind of burrow into writing again, I think.
Excellent. Do you want to take this time to shout out any organizations or causes that you'd like to tell everyone about?
Yeah, a cause that's like near and dear to my heart is Zebra Coalition. They're in the greater Orlando area, and they serve LGBTQ plus teen and youth, especially homeless youth in the Orlando area. They're always needing a lot of funds for things. So anytime I can talk them up or give them something myself, then I'm always really happy to. They're a great organization.
Amazing. Everyone, please check them out. Kristen Arnett is all about family and its troublesome ways, and she'll take you on this journey through her hard-hitting novel with teeth, available right here at Charm City Books. Kristen, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. It was a blast. Thank you.
Thank you. I had fun.
And thank you all for joining us. Please share this link with all of your friends. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Facebook. Until next week, I'm Brandon Rashad Butts. We'll see you again soon. Get vaccinated, stay hydrated, and see you soon. Thanks, guys.